So, we have Brexit, and first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who supported me and who watched my Brexit prediction vlog. We had a great discussion on there. There were some really good comments, some different views, which I think is great. It's lovely to be stimulated by views that are different and views that are not your own. So I think we really had a lot of constructive debate on there, and thank you for everyone who participated in that. In the wake of Brexit, I've been asked by a lot of people to look into various things. For example, will Scotland split from the UK? Will Northern Ireland rejoin Ireland? And what's going to happen with Jeremy Bostick Corbyn, you know, his absolute stickability. I think his new first name should be Superglue. What's going to happen with all these politicians, and what about my prediction for the next Prime Minister of the UK, which is what this vlog is going to be about. So if you cast your mind back to my Brexit vlog, I said it wouldn't be Boris, I didn't have my money on him, and I said keep your eye on Theresa May. So I said that 5 weeks ago, and as the days go by, it's looking more and more like it's exactly who it's going to be, Theresa May. So let's have a look and see what her chart has to say. So the first thing that you'll remember I said in my Brexit vlog is the UK seem to favour political leaders that come from the cardinal signs. And in fact, the Tory party in particular love leaders that are either Aries or Libra. Maggie Thatcher, David Cameron, Libra, Ian Duncan Smith, William Hague, Aries, John Major, Aries, Edward Heath was Cancer. So, you know, you can see that theme, that they're always going for those signs. Not that that in itself is conclusive. So, I've also been asked by many of you who've said, look, you're really concerned. You were interested in the whole Brexit debate, but everything now is so absolutely uncertain with what with the exchange rate, the market fluctuations and whatever. And people said, do I have anything to say to kind of reassure everyone astrologically? And absolutely I do. It's very, very early days at the moment. The relevant article, I think it's Article 50, hasn't even been invoked yet, and I think it's probably a good idea that that's been kicked into the long grass for the moment, so we can get our new leaders all you know, ducks in a row and get things ready before we go into negotiations. I don't think there's anything to be gained by making hasty decisions. In the short run, of course, there's going to be an uncertainty, but what I've often said to people, and it applies to your own personal charts as well, because every one of us is going to be hit by Pluto at some stage, just as the United Kingdom was hit by Pluto and Uranus, and it brings change. And in my novel, A Sealed Fate, which you'll see in the background there, this is a quote from it, which I think it says it quite well. Astrology often indicates to me that my client is on the brink of something great. However, it can turn out that that client is going through dreadful tribulations. The planets seem to destroy our comfort zones every now and again, and although we may see this as the end of the world, it really is just the universe trying to free up our potential once again. So the message behind that is, often we fall into complacency, we fall into comfort zones, which are ultimately not very productive and not very constructive. And that's why the planets sort of shake things up every now and again, because it's during those crisis phases that the massive opportunities arise. So the best thing about at the moment is to not see the negatives and to see the fluctuations in the market and the problems, is to see the potential for opportunity. Because this is, you know, of mice and men. This is where men are made, people who grab opportunities in situations of flux right now. So don't be negative, be positive. Look to the trends and look how you can see how you can grab an opportunity going forward. So I talked about Theresa May being Libra and how many of the Conservative Party leaders are in the cardinal signs. I've noted that around the world we have quite a few Libran female leaders. For example, I'm going to battle with this name now. It's Soro Kugogenwela from Namibia, a female president. Sheikh Hasina Wazir in Bangladesh, female Libran president. Michelle Bachelet in Chile, female Libran president. Librans are tough. They have the ability to take on this role. So let's have a look at Theresa May's chart. Theresa May is born 1st of October 1956. Now unfortunately I don't have her time of birth, and I also wasn't able to find her husband's date of birth, which I thought would have been quite informative in trying to narrow down her ascendant and her midheaven and therefore her time of birth. But we plug on anyway. She has a lot of planets in Virgo. this is her chart, and you can see there we've got Moon, Jupiter, and Mercury, all in Virgo, the sign of the workaholic, the sign of the perfectionist, the sign of someone who's got an absolute eye for detail. This is someone who's extremely dedicated and hardworking. She's not likely to let a ball drop. She's got with Jupiter in Virgo, she can see the big picture, but she can also see the minutiae of the detail, which I think is exactly what we're looking for now. She has her... there we go. Let's see what we can have a look at. Of course, she's got Sun in Libra, and as I say, that's always good. Librans make excellent leaders because it's the iron hand in the velvet glove. They're able to be extremely diplomatic, but they're also tough. Tough but fair. Tough with still an eye on justice and fairness. Now, her Mars is in Pisces. Now this shows an ability to deal with extremely sensitive situations in a way that is both subtle and persistent and takes note of the underlying currents and sensitivities and treads very lightly. So that, in conjunction with the fact that she is a woman, says to me that she is the right person to take us forward in the negotiations with the EU, because she is able to be subtle, but she's really tough and firm because she has her moon is paired up to, is in conjunction with Pluto, which means she is absolutely tough, steadfast, unswerving, and she can hold her nerve. I was actually listening to Ian Collins on LBC Radio, and he was saying if there was one British politician who you could imagine in a meeting with Vladimir Putin being able to kind of stare him out, it would be Theresa May. And I see in her chart that kind of steel. She's got a lot of guts, this woman. Theresa May doesn't have children. It's obviously a choice she's made, and because she's so dedicated to her career in politics. And I think, again, that shows that this is the kind of person who's really dedicated and really concerned about their job. And for that reason, one of the best people to take us forward at the moment. So I had a look at her chart to see the likelihood of her taking power in terms of the solar arc directions, which I did talk to you about before when I did the reading on Brexit. And I see that her Mercury, solar arc Mercury, has moved to be conjunct with Saturn. Saturn is squaring Neptune, Pluto is squaring Neptune, and transiting Uranus is conjunct Mars. Why these things are significant to me is because I looked back to when she was first elected as an MP, which was back in 1997, and I saw that right then her Neptune was activated, and so was a certain point in her house, 24 degrees of cardinal signs was also activated, which is again activated by Uranus and Neptune. So putting all those influences together, I can see a correlation to the time that she was first elected as an MP to this particular period now, and because this period is tying up with her chart and the UK chart, and there are linkages there which show me that she has a great chance of being a leader. I've also been looking at Liam Fox's chart, which is extremely interesting, so I would be interested to see if he could be a Deputy Chancellor of the Exchequer or some important role, or maybe he could be an important, because he was on the Brexiteer side, whereas Theresa May was on the Remain side. If we brought those two together, especially because Liam Fox has Scottish connections, which could help maybe reunite the two countries by having someone from Scotland or with Scottish connections involved in these negotiations, would be very interesting. So I definitely have my eye on Theresa May for the leadership. I think she's the dead right person in terms of her toughness, her resolve, her tenacity, her ability to maneuver. She's quite, well, the word manipulative I think has a negative connotation, but if you look at it in a positive way, I think she's just the right person. She's not going to go in there sort of cack-handed. She's going to go in there with a delicate, light touch when she conducts these negotiations, and I think this will be the right approach. She's extremely strategic. She looks at the lay of the land, she's got good intuition, and she'll use all her woman's intuition and the subtle power women have to make this a really good negotiation. And I don't think she's a person that's going to feel rushed. She is a girl who takes her time, and that is exactly what we need. What we don't want now is to rush in, you know, rush in where angels fear to tread. This is a delicate situation, and Theresa May is definitely the right person going forward. So guys, thank you very much again. I've loved doing these vlogs, and I love interacting with you and hearing your opinions. And I will be looking at charts of the various Labour leaders to see what could happen there. I'll be having a look to see about Scotland and Northern Ireland and definitely Hillary Clinton, although in that case Hillary, it looks such a dead cert from the chart. I don't think I'm going to be able to say too much there, but I think it would still be kind of interesting to have a look at Donald Trump and Hillary's chart, just to see what cooks, huh? Okay, I may add that if you watching this blog, you probably enjoy politics and you also enjoy astrology, and I thought maybe you would enjoy my book, Not Guilty, Not Innocent. It's a thriller, and there's quite a lot of political intrigue in there, in a small way related to Brexit. So this is a book I've written in conjunction with a friend of mine, and available in paperback and Kindle. Kindle very reasonably priced. I hope you'll enjoy it.